you're left in a situation where you prematurely exited a trade, and now the trade has rolled over to hit your would-be profits. There's only one problem. You are no longer in the trade because you bailed out, and now you're stuck looking at your chart saying, man, I did some great analysis, but I didn't make any money off of it. I actually lost money. So that's the dilemma that you kind of have to fight. What sits with you better mentally? Are you okay exiting early with reason, right? But potentially having some opportunities that you got to sit on the sideline and miss? How much does that bother you? Versus are you able to sit with a position that has clearly been invalidated, but trust your stop loss and hold off till the end? And there's no wrong or right answer to that. That is personal preference. I'd love to hear where you guys stand on that. I know me personally, I don't use graceful exit because it bothers me more for the later example. I tried it before, and it mentally tears me apart to know that I did good analysis, to know that I didn't, in my mind, didn't trust my stop loss, and then to see the market roll over without me being involved. Like that's the one thing. I can lose all day, I don't care. That's the one thing that really tears me apart. And when I tried to graceful exit for a very short period of time, I just felt myself becoming very frustrated with that. And it really changed kind of my psychological makeup in the market, where I was trading angry and a lot of revenge was starting to seep in, because I felt like I was right, but I didn't benefit off of it. On the other hand, losing I never really got upset by telling myself, hey, I could have lost less on this trade, but I decided to lose more. That's never been an issue. And I think the reason for that is well, let me ask you guys this before I say it. What do you think the reason for that is? Why do you think I didn't really become frustrated or upset by saying, man, I could have cut my losses a little bit, but I took the full loss? Stewie says set rules. Yeah. But keep in mind, if you're going to graceful exit, these are set rules as well. Risk management. What about risk management? Go on. Sue said, if we get a violation, then an engulfing candle afterwards, I would see that as a fake out. But if not, I don't see any problem with it personally. Yeah, I see no problem with graceful exit. I see zero problem with it at all. I think the reason it didn't bother me is because whenever I place a trade, right, and I place stop losses on a trade, I'm accepting that risk. Does that make sense? When I measure out my stop loss and I look at how far my stop loss is and I convert that into the monetary figure, I am asking myself, I'm saying, Akil, are you okay accepting this risk? And really, I treat it very similar to how I, like gambling in a way, where craps is my game of choice. Whenever I put my money on the table, craps or blackjack, whatever it is, poker, right, I can't get it back. So I accept that I'm going to lose this money. Now, I know there's a chance I may win it back and win more back, hopefully, but I'm accepting when I put it in there, push in the middle of the table, I'm accepting that I lost this money. So whenever I place a trade, it's a very similar mindset where I look at the trade, I look at the stop loss, I make sure the stop loss is within my rules, risk management wise. And when I place the trade, I basically say, hey, I just lost this much money. And I'm okay with that. So I've come to peace. I've come to peace with what I'm risking. And because I've come to peace with that, it's one of the reasons you don't see me making any trading mistakes. You guys have been with me in the live room plenty of times where I've lost trades and they're just like, they're tanking right away. And I'm just sitting there like, whatever, right? Because I've come to peace with losing that money. And I think that's one of the reasons it doesn't bother me to take a full loss, because I've already accepted in my mind taking the full loss. Anything else is bonus, right? You'll hear a lot of professional traders say this. I don't do this. Maybe I should, because it make my win percentage better. A lot of professional traders count break-even trades as wins. Did you know that? A lot of pro traders say, look, if I get break even on a trade, that's a win. And you may ask yourself, well, how the heck is a break even trade a win? Well, it's a win because you didn't lose. It's a win because you didn't lose. And I think the same way. Now, I don't count it in my stats as a win. It just counts as a non-trade. But if there's a situation where, let's say I'm in a trade and I have an opportunity to roll stops. Let's say I'm in a big trend continuation trade. I have an opportunity to roll stops, and then price never actually gets to my targets, but I get stopped out for break even. In my mind, that's a win, guys. And it's a win because I didn't do what? It's a win because I didn't lose. And the whole point of trading is managing those losses. I just saw, let me see if I can bring it up to you. I was going through, I started reloading my quotes of the day because I haven't done it in a while. Here's a good quote by one of my favorite dudes out there, Steve Burns. He says, trading is like any other sport. You want to score more points on offense profits than you give up on defense losses. And there are a few perfect seasons or games. Each time I get a break-even trade, that's like a defensive stop. That is stopping my opponent from scoring points. That's a win. Now, obviously, I have to keep scoring points on the offensive end, but if there's a situation where maybe I give up a penalty kick and I'm like, oh man, this is going to be a goal, and for some reason I save it or they shank it and it misses, that's a win because I should have been down 1-0 and we're still break even. So I kind of see it like that. I come to peace with my risk, and I think everyone should. I think if you're not at peace with how much you're risking and how much you could potentially lose per trade, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be very emotionally driven. So that's one of the reasons taking full losses doesn't really affect me. I have my stop placement set at a very specific place for a very specific reason, and I live or die by that. Now, that being said, nothing against the graceful exit. I going back on our conversation about playing good defense, if you have an opportunity to reduce how many points you give up when you lose on defense, that's a positive. What I'm saying is mentally, you just have to be comfortable with it. And that's going to be on you as a trader. You have to know yourself. You have to know how it affects you. If you're okay with it, I think it's a great thing to do, especially in a situation like this where you have two signals. One, your bearish trade is invalidated. Two, you have a bullish setup that says we should be going higher, right? If that's not a big red flag that says get out of any short positions, I don't know what is. But you gotta make sure that you can mentally deal with it. Does that make sense? Because first and foremost, right, we always talk about matching your trading to your personality, right? Again, you can give the best system in the world to a trader. If he can't actually execute it, he or she can't actually execute it consistently, it's pointless. So we talk about trading. One of the keys of trading being risk management. I would say, right, an even more important part of trading is self-management. Managing yourself, managing your emotions, putting yourself in a position where you can consistently succeed. Because if you can't do that, the greatest system, the greatest technique, tactic, strategy, whatever you want to call it, is going to be pointless, right? It's like putting a gun in the hand of someone who can't aim. Are they going to protect you? Probably not. And if anything, they're going to be more of a harm and a danger to themselves.